Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. This is TheTranspondster and I am in The Sims 4 doing a speed build for you. We're working on my realistic save file like most of my speed build videos, but this one in particular is in Brindleton Bay. If you didn't already notice by the boats off in the back there, we're over kind of in the community lot area of Brindleton Bay. I can't remember the exact neighborhood name, but we're tucked off in, when you're looking at the map, the bottom left corner, and it's probably the farthest lot off. But anywho, we're working on a community lot today, and because Brindleton Bay gives off major Maine vibes, we're going with a seafood place, but it's going to be a kind of hole in the wall seafood place, so it definitely doesn't look as nice as the food tastes. So the building on the left is going to be that. It looks like it's going to be 2 floors, kind of the way I did the windows at the front there, but it is only 1 floor, and it's kind of a general store seafood place vibe. So it's not your typical sit down fancy lobster restaurant. There's definitely places to sit down here and eat lobster, but it's not, anything high class or elegant. Very casual, very spur of the moment. Let's go here for a day date kind of thing. We're out in the area on the town. Let's stop here for some lobster rolls. So yeah, that's what that building on the left is going to be. There's going to be a nice big patio out back to sit and eat your seafood while you look at the bay. The building on the right, because I want this community lot to be multifunctional, but I need to slot it as a restaurant for the Dine Out aspect to work. And I have used this as a restaurant already in my own personal gameplay, and it does function perfectly fine with Dine Out. So anywho, the building on the right there is going to be kind of more a music studio, or like a rehearsal space. It was kind of more my headspace there when I set this up, because we're not going to have all the soundproof walls and recording equipment set up, but we are going to have a lot of instruments set up in different rooms of basically a converted house that now bands can kind of rent out and use as their practice space, either the whole thing or just a single room. Obviously, this is kind of imagination based at this point, because you can't actually rent out a room to use, just for a few hours in The Sims. It's not possible. But you can certainly have your musically inclined Sims visit this lot, ignore the seafood restaurant that's next door, and come and jam with their band here. So, totally functional. I guess I haven't personally tested the music side of it, but it's all set up to where it'll work no problem. I didn't technically have to include this, but the lot was kind of massive for the vibe of a restaurant that I was going for, and I didn't want to leave all this empty space, especially when I think about how that might look in the overhead map view of the world with the finished lot. There would be a lot of green on half of this lot. So that's why we filled it in, and I do want to mention that I absolutely adore the kind of alleyway that forms between these two. They're both basically converted houses into these businesses. So it looks very, picturesque, small town vibe. I really just picture this as like a nice boating community, maybe a lot of retirees hanging around and going out on the bay for the day just to go fishing, or even just to tan, catch some sun. They've got nothing going on. Life's slow, life's good. No jobs to take away all their time. Because let's be real, that's where we spend most of our time. Jobs, school, doing chores, all the not so fun stuff. All right, we're starting to get the actual layouts set up here, and I want to say that filling the general store portion of this side of the lot was probably the hardest. Mostly because, I don't use CC in like 99% of my uploads to both the gallery and my social medias. So I don't have, the clutter options that could be there for a general store if you did download CC. There would be so many options out there, so many good CC creators to make that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to make it, totally user friendly, console downloadable. I do tend to be pack heavy, so, that is the one kind of compromise I guess I have there, is that I use a lot of packs to compensate my lack of CC. But, some people just don't want to slow their computers or their games down, which is totally valid. I honestly am just scared of doing it wrong because I traumatized myself with some mild PTSD here from downloading bad mods back in my Sims 2 days when I was just a young thing playing The Sims. I wasn't that young, but young and naive about mods having viruses and fun stuff like that. Anyways, that's mostly why I'm C free, but also I've always loved uploading my builds on the gallery, and people don't really see your builds if there's a lot of CC in them. Not that that's ever been that important to me. I think it's fun to know that other people use my builds because not everyone likes to build. I will say that piece from like the thrift store in high school years really came in handy here. Yeah, it filled out a big space in that general store area. I think also at the time of building this specific lot, the new expansion had recently come out, like fresh. So Better Build, Buy, and Tool weren't up to date at this point. So I didn't even have my full debug catalog to get myself through this one. The kitchen, I made slightly closed off, but slightly open. I thought about fully closing it off, but I liked that diner feel that it gave, having that open window there where you can see over the counter into where the cooks are working away and making the food from scratch, because you want your seafood made from scratch, that's for sure. Especially when you're going for, like, not that I speak from experience, but, rumor has it Maine has good lobster. Although rumor also has it, as someone that's never tried lobster, I'd like to add, again, not speaking from experience, but I've heard that lobster is actually very bland and it's just a very good butter vessel. So, I don't know, is that a bad thing? An excuse to eat an obscene amount of butter? Might not be the best thing, but why not indulge once in a while? No, lobster's definitely on my hit list of food I want to try. I just want to make sure I try it from the right place the first time. I am more central Canada, so I would have to go Eastern Canada more so to get really good lobster or seafood. I've tried seafood before, just not all seafood. Yeah. Random fact of the day from Adriana. Sorry for that, or you're welcome, depending how you feel towards it. Landscaping this lot was, not gonna lie, very daunting, but I don't know what was more daunting, landscaping the lot or decorating the music rehearsal space, because I did not know how to start there. I kind of had an idea, but I didn't know how I was gonna make it come through in The Sims. My partner, he was in numerous bands actually when we were younger and had way more time to do things like that. But he actually used to rent out spaces like this because we have either rented or lived with his parents, and while we rent, his drum kit stays at his parents. His guitars come with us, but drums aren't so apartment friendly. So yeah, those stay at his parents' place, and they used to have to rent spaces like this to do their full on band practices if like timing didn't work well for parents to be gone to not have to listen to it. I did, though, include the music mix station thing that comes with Get Famous. That is kind of, studio-esque equipment because you can have your Sims come and make music tracks on that. So I wanted it to be very useful. I set up a little makeshift stage there, so that's fun. I think it's called a busking stand or stage or something like that. I don't know. I'm probably very wrong. I also didn't really have any kind of direction with art or, decor pieces in this kind of build. The one place that I did see my partner practice in was really nothing like this other than it had rooms to play music in with some couches and stuff. But no, the decor in that one, it had like, I don't know what kind of building this place was beforehand. It was definitely a converted commercial type building, but it had a marble staircase, a grand piano in the entrance, and all these weird statues everywhere. Like bust type statues. So it was just a really weird decor for the kind of place that it was, especially considering that it was a punk kind of band, like a punk rock or hard rock. I don't even know what to call the genre of music he played. He played kind of a mix of things. But yeah, it wasn't soft stuff by any means or instrumental or classical. So yeah, it didn't quite fit the vibe check for who was using that place, but it was cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was a cool thing to go check out. That's why I was even in there to begin with, because he was like, you'll never believe what this place looks like inside, because from the outside it's just a big flat rectangular building in the center of the downtown of our city. So yeah, interesting the things you find out. That's, I guess, kind of where the inspiration came here, because you don't know what you're getting with these little hole in the wall places. I also want to throw in that I do have 2 woohoo spots. You heard me. There are not 1, but 2 woohoo spots that are going to end up being in this lot. One will be upstairs in that music rehearsal building on the right. There is a Murphy bed that your Sims can risk their lives taking down, potentially die on their band practice. But yeah, they could also woohoo. So it could go one of 2 ways. Or they could just play it safe and woohoo in the dumpster in the alleyway. And I really like that that's the safe option here, right? Because theoretically, the dumpster is by no means a safe place to do that kind of thing. You never know what's in that dumpster, literally and figuratively, the stuff in the air around the dumpster. Who knows? Do not recommend, do not speak on experience. Once again, I should hope I'm not speaking on experience here, but yeah, no woohooing in dumpsters, people, preferably. But you do you, because we don't judge. Maybe a little in this case, but we don't judge. I did throw in a little, clean up your dog poop sign, because this is Brindleton Bay. There's going to be people walking dogs here. who knows? People may even be bringing horses here now because we have pets that should have been in the pets pack. I don't fully want to be that person because I also get it. We wanted pets and they spent a lot of time fleshing out how horses move in Horse Ranch. So, I feel like we could have been waiting a really long time for a pets pack if they adamantly wanted to provide us horses at that time as well. So, whatever. We got it eventually. We're getting there. We're getting our game nice and rounded out. It is becoming a nice, fully formed thing. It's always been a nice thing, but fully formed now. I felt like this place was pretty bland, so I filled it in with fairy lights. I think that's cheating. Just a smidge, but just a smidge. Like I said, zero direction here with decor style. We totally wung it. I did kind of decorate with a dartboard. This specific part of the build is where I heavily felt not having better build by, because for some reason I could not for the life of me get show, I think it was live edit objects. I was able to get show hidden objects, but not live edit objects to actually show up in the debug catalog. So that was kind of frustrating because I couldn't find cars. And if you use Better Build By, you know that cars are nicely sorted out into the bike section in outdoor objects, like the vehicles. It's a little bike icon. So yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer. It makes this place look a little less lively, a little less bumping, a little less yummy. But I'm not going to promise that I might add it in before I upload this to the gallery, because I always upload after I do my voice recording, just because I want the upload to be kind of fresh to where I get the actual, video out. I want the gallery upload to be there kind of at the same time as the video. So that's how I do it. I hold off on uploading till it's ready. So I might add some cars in, but like I said, not making promises. I do want to throw out there though, I forgot something very important. Very, very important. There are 3 woohoo spots here. 3! I don't know if you caught it, but that big giant purple bush closest to the building on the left, but in the middle of the two, is actually a convenience bush, which means that your Sims can, yes, go to the bathroom there, but also they are able to woohoo there. So enjoy that. Also, thank you for enjoying this video. Keep on enjoying the walkthrough of the build that I just completed for you. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. It helps me out so much in this whole YouTube algorithm. It just shows YouTube that you like my content and that other people might like it too. So in that sense, it does a lot, and I truly, truly appreciate everyone that's willing to do those few little things for me. So thank you again, and most importantly, don't forget to have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.